Neves, and he's an important part of their midfield. Missed the last two with an ankle injury, but he's back today alongside Warren, Zaire, Emery and Vitinha. There's also a return for Makinas in the heart of the defence. He's preferred to Zabanye. Ousmane Dembele will start in attack. Kvaratskhelia drops down to the bench. So here is how Paris Saint-Germain will line up. Matvei Safonov in goal, the Russian. That back four, Ashraf Hakimi, Makinos, the captain, William Pacho and Nuno Mendes. In midfield, Zaire, Emery, Vitinha and Neves. And then those two wide men, Barcola and Doué, with Ousmane Dembele, the Ballon d'Or winner, in attack. On the bench, Gonzalo Ramos, Lee Kang-Ying. Two goalkeepers in Chevalier and Marin. And then you've got Ibrahim Mbaye, Dro Fernandez, Kavica Kvaratskhelia, Ilya Zabanye, Lucas Beraldo, Lucas Hernandez and Seni Mayulu. What about Chelsea? Well, they have accommodated Malo Gusto at right back to give Reece James, who's got the captain's armband, the role in midfield with him alongside Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. That midfield battle should be quite something tonight and will determine the outcome of this two-legged tie. There is also a place in the lineup for Cole Palmer, who's not had the best of times of late, and it's Wesley Fofana and Trevor Chalobah will partner one another in the centre of defence. Philip Jorgensen continues in goal. So it is Jorgensen in goal, it's Gusto, it's Chalobah, it's Fofana and Cucurella at the back. James, Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez in midfield. Cole Palmer down the right, Pedro Neto down the left, and João Pedro in attack. On the bench for Chelsea tonight, two goalkeepers in Merrick and Sanchez, Tosin, Joel Hato, Benoit Badiashile, Liam Delap, Mark Guihu, and then Josh Achimpong, Mamadou Sarr, Romeo Lavia, Andre Santos and Alejandro Garnacho. Today's referee, in fact all of the match officials, are from Spain. They are, well, referee Alejandro Hernandez. Assistant referees are Jose Naranjo and Diogo Rocco. Jose Munier is the fourth official, and Carlos Grande and Cesar Grando are the two VAR officials. Two captains stepping forward for a shake of hands. Well, it's there's no colour clashes here tonight. Paris Saint-Germain are playing in all black tonight as opposed to their usual navy blue. And Chelsea have changed to all white. So just about ready to get underway. Toss of the coin between Makinos and Reece James. And then two captains head back to their teams for a huddle. A huddle and a cuddle before kick-off. It's Paris Saint-Germain against Chelsea. This could go either way. Two sides that are consistently inconsistent this season. Which Chelsea will turn up? To that matter, which Paris Saint-Germain is going to turn up? More to the point, it is just about time for kick-off. Chelsea's players in a huddle. You are listening to audio commentary coverage of Paris Saint-Germain against Chelsea from the Parc des Princes. But Safonov makes his way back into the Paris Saint-Germain goal. And at the other end, Philip Jorgensen. So the battle commences. 180 minutes, quite possibly more, to decide which of these two is going to progress. I don't think these two are the best two teams in the competition, but when does the best team ever win the Champions League? Not always. I think last season it did. Paris Saint-Germain were just head and shoulders above everyone else in the end. And as Vitinha kicks off rugby union style and puts it away in the corner. So we're off and we're underway. PSG against Chelsea. There's not an empty seat in the house. There's Cucurella. Goes to take this throw, and it's flicked on by Neto, and up in the air by Vitinha. It's Makinos, who turns away from João Pedro, but carries it out in the process. So it's going to be a throw into to Chelsea inside their own half. Just the early stages of this game. The two teams just feeling their way into this cauldron tonight. PSG with the home advantage will be keen to kick on with some sort of advantage going into next week's second leg at Stamford Bridge. Goalless so far. First couple of minutes of Paris Saint-Germain keeping ball inside their own half. And tussle between João Neves, comes out on top against Cole Palmer in that particular one. Had more of the ball so far, Paris Saint-Germain, as Nuno Mendes creeps it down the line. Off goes Bradley Barcola, but he's not able to link up with the potential pass from Vitinha. Here's Vitinha again. A couple of minutes on the clock. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Chelsea 0, as Paris Saint-Germain work their way along the back line with Pacho. This is Makinos. I did watch the game last Friday when Monaco won here 3-1, and Paris Saint-Germain were very, very poor. Zabani had a poor game at the back, and I'm not surprised that Marquinhos comes in. There's an injury. Doué has caught Wesley Fofana, who's gone down holding his shin. Was it Wesley Fofana? No, it's Moises Caicedo. Couldn't see the number on the shirt. Oh yeah, it's a stamp on the foot from Doué. I don't think it was anything intentional. Free kick has been given. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Chelsea 0 here in the Champions League. Earlier on, Kai Havertz scoring a late equaliser from the penalty spot. Don't think it was a penalty personally. Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 1. 3 matches at the moment taking place. This one, Real Madrid against Manchester City, and Bodo Glimt against Sporting. All 3 games 0-0. Paris Saint-Germain feeding their way into this game. This is Vitinha, who will pull the strings from deep. And played out wide by Desiree Doué, and he's in an offside position. So a free kick to Chelsea. Ball forward. Pacho is wrapped up in confrontation with João Pedro. Pedro goes down. There is no foul. Play on, says the Spanish referee. Pacho then out wide to Nuno Mendes. This is Bradley Barcola, who has not scored a Champions League goal in 17 matches. He scored 3 in the French league. And here come Chelsea. Ball into the box, whips across the face, and it was just across both João Pedro and Pedro Neto, but the ball in was a magnificent one from the captain, Reece James. It was teasing, it was bending in, it clipped the toe of João Pedro, and that was the merest touch that took it wide and took it away from Pedro Neto. If he didn't touch that, I think that would have been 1-0, because I think Pedro Neto would have got there. William Rossigna on his return to France today, former Strasbourg manager, of course. His side really should have been ahead there. First chance of the game, and he's gone to Chelsea. Brilliant ball in from Reece James. I mean, you couldn't deliver it any better, but now Chelsea have surrendered possession in towards Dembele from Doué's cross, but he makes a hash of the shot, and then it's hit by Vitinha, and it was low and hard. It was João Neves, in fact, that hit it, and he must have been the best part of 30 yards from goal. It's low, it's hard, it's dipping. Straight into the midriff of Jorgensen, but he has to watch that carefully. Does Jorgensen. So both sides get a chance early on. And now Cole Palmer getting forward down the right for Chelsea. It's Palmer against Vitinha. Vitinha matches up to him all the way, picks up an injury in the process and gives away a corner. Well, lively start. That ball in from Reece James was sensational. How it didn't have anyone on the end of it, I'm not so sure. Paris Saint-Germain responding with that snapshot from João Neves. 21 years of age, the £100,000 teenager, Gusto with the corner. In fact, it was Gusto's flick from the corner, and it's been put behind by Vitinha. The smallest players on the pitch winning the aerial duel in a very crowded penalty area. So another corner for Chelsea, 2 in succession. Whipped in again, deeper this time. Safanov gets a hand to it, pushes it away, and lifted down the line by Hakimi. And off goes Desiree Doué as he gathered it in his stride. He seemed to slip over. Handing possession back to Reece James and Chelsea. We're going through a good spell here, creating a really good chance a minute ago. Reece James on the right wing, and then in the left back position, doing his duties as a captain and a central midfield anchor. Brought out from the back by Chalobah. Is it squared to Fofana? Caicedo up to Jorgensen, back out wide again to feet of Wesley Fofana. He goes long this time, Fofana. Hooked up well by Pacho. Dependable William Pacho at the back. Pacho is Ecuador international teammate of Moises Caicedo in direct opposition today. Here's Pacho again. Nuno Mendes. Crossfield pass, it'll be controlled by Warren Zaire-Emery. Back inside to Vitinha, lets it go to Makinos, and then Safanov finding Pacho. Paris Saint-Germain all black today, Chelsea in all white. Dembele, that's a good ball as well. Out wide, bypassing Zaire-Emery. This is Hakimi to Zaire-Emery, and back to Hakimi again, who steps forward and gets away from the forceful challenge from Enzo Fernandez, but the referee didn't like that. He sticks an elbow into the body of Hakimi and shoves him off the ball, and that's enough to prompt the referee from Spain to give the free kick, and rightly so. So free kick to Paris Saint-Germain inside the Chelsea half. It's on the right hand side, it's about 5 yards infield from the near touchline. Vitinha ready to take it. Midway inside Chelsea's half. They've pushed the big guns forward. Pacho's in there, Makinos is in there. It's played short to Hakimi. Rolls it into the box. This is Doué. Doué chips it into the box. It's Dembele with a header, and headed away in turn by Pedro Neto. Picked up again by Pacho. Now a driving run from Mendes into the penalty area. Still going here, Mendes. He's managed to win it back. He tees it up, and it's just short for Barcola. But here's Mendes once more on the left-hand side. This is better for Paris Saint-Germain. Vitinha plays it into a central position, and Hakimi, his touch was poor, but he's managed to keep hold of it. Desiree Doué, he's got an option wide. That's Dembele. Dembele hangs it into the far post. Headed down by Vitinha. It's Bradley Barcola, and he smashes it in off the bar. What a goal for Paris Saint-Germain. And after a long wait of 18 games in the Champions League without a goal, it's a goal for Bradley Barcola. Bradley Barcola with a goal, and Paris Saint-Germain with the lead inside the opening 10 minutes. Wallop in off the bar. He could not have hit it any better. Power and accuracy from the nod down, and the rest is history. Barcola back amongst the Champions League goals. Hakimi gets it wide to Doué, who sends it wider still to Dembele, who hangs it up. It's headed down by João Neves, and wallop. What a hit from Bradley Barcola. It comes to him, and he takes it on the chest, and on the half volley, in off the bar from 8 yards out, from the nod down from João Neves. This is sensational finishing from a quality player, right up into the top corner, in off the bar. It's a super strike for Paris Saint-Germain, who lead at the Parc des Princes by a goal to nil. 10 minutes gone, and Bradley Barcola continues his excellent form. 3-3 in Ligue 1 McDonald's in France, and he goes and gets a goal here tonight. He's hitting the right notes at the right time, and Paris Saint-Germain have quickly washed out of their system that horrible 3-1 defeat on Friday at the hands of Monaco, who really didn't get going in that game at all. Played Monaco 4 times this season, incidentally, of Paris Saint-Germain, and in every single game they've fallen 1-0 behind. They lost both league games. They managed to get the better of Monaco in both of the recent Champions League playoff matches. Here they come again, and it's fluid, and Barcola's into the penalty area. Can he pull it back? No, he can't. And Wesley Fofana will bring it away and knocks it deep up towards the halfway line. Dealt with by Pacho. They're very much on top at the moment, are Paris Saint-Germain. Well, it's difficult when you have such a bad result like you did on Friday against Monaco, but they've put it completely out of their system. They've just taken a break, taken a step back. They've brought in João Neves to solidify that midfield, and he is pivotal. He's every inch as pivotal as Vitinha in there for me. And to have Ousmane Dembele back, and hoping that he can stay fit, because he just can't seem to play 3 games on the bounce without picking up an injury at the moment. Ousmane Dembele, they've bided their time in getting him back onto the pitch. Now they'll be hoping they can keep him on the pitch. But it's Paris Saint-Germain 1, Chelsea 0. It's Bradley Barcola with the goal, and what a goal it was too. Zero has been flattened on this near side, knocked out of play by Cucurella. That's Bradley Barcola's been knocked out of play, not the ball. The ball is on the far side of the pitch, and it has been knocked out of play by the goal scorer, Bradley Barcola. His first goal in 11 matches this season in the Champions League. I tell you what, you could not have hit it any truer on the half volley. Splendid, splendid goal. And just remember that ball in from Reece James at the other end, it just needed a touch. Well, it got a touch off of João Pedro. Off of João Pedro. And had he not touched it, I think Pedro Neto would have got there, and it would have been 1-0 to Chelsea. It would have been a completely different story. Been a really exciting start to this game. Chelsea could have been ahead, but it's Paris Saint-Germain that are ahead, and what a goal. What a great team goal it was too. Malo Gusto brings it down, knocks it down the line to Cole Palmer, who's wrestling away with João Neves. Neves sticks with it. Long ball down the line, cutting inside is Chelsea winger Enzo Fernandez on the wing at the moment, and he cuts back inside, and his shot is high over the crossbar. Gets it into João Pedro. Pedro back to Enzo Fernandez onto the right foot. He gets underneath it, pulls it high over the crossbar. So a goal kick to Paris Saint-Germain, who lead here by 1-0. Here's the goal scorer, Barcola, inside to Dembele. Well, he's not an out-and-out centre-forward, Dembele. He's playing as a midfielder at the moment. This is Zaire Emery, the young 19-year-old, already a full international for Paris Saint-Germain, as is this man, Desiré Doué, fine talent, 20 years of age. They've got some smashing young players at Paris Saint-Germain. This is a very young team and a very good team. They are the European champions for a reason. Here is Dembele, out wide to, for me, the man of the moment, goal scorer, Barcola. It's in with Mendes. This is Dembele pinging it about with a bit of confidence and a bit of swagger at the moment. Here is Doué, he's trying his luck on the left-hand side, plays it inside to Mendes, who goes on the outside, and it smashes against the post, and the goalkeeper Jorgensen was nowhere in sight, and Paris Saint-Germain are ripping Chelsea at the moment. That was so unlucky. It was a hit from Mendes, and it smashed off the outside of the post. and it was within a whisker of making it 2-0. Here's Hakimi, gets it back. What a different side they are, just to have Dembele and Neves in. They've had 3 shots on target already here, Paris Saint-Germain. They've been effective, and they are leading by a goal to 0, and they're on the attack again. Dembele picking the ball up. They don't play with an out-and-out centre forward. Dembele goes up there when he feels like it, and he's just trotting up there very slow. It's almost walking pace at the moment. Into the area they go, and Doué tries to get there, but there's 2 defenders to smother. It wasn't Doué, it was Warren Zaïre-Emery, and it's behind for a goal kick. Still Bodo Glimt 0, Sporting 0, still Real Madrid 0, Manchester City 0. If you want goals, then this is the place to be. Having a look at that shot from Ousmane Dembele, it was fingertipped onto the bar by the goalkeeper. It was going in otherwise. Good save by Jorgensen, who got the nearest to brushes with his fingertips. His gloves did the job. Paris Saint-Germain 1, Chelsea 0. Well, this is a tie that is most probably going to go the course. It's going to ebb, it's going to flow. Like a pendulum on a grandfather clock, I'm sure. The first swing has gone into the favour of Chelsea. They missed it. The next swing to Paris Saint-Germain, who equalised. And they've actually took one goal. They nearly made it 2. Ousmane Dembele hitting the post. It's been a bright start for this home side. The champions of Europe aren't going to relinquish their grip on the elite prize without a fight. But here goes Pedro Neto, and he's into the box, and he's got away from Aquino. It's Neto across.
Excellent defending in the end by William Pacho. And I think that was a real reminder of the age of Marquinhos. He really looked like he had no chance with catching up Pedro Neto. Neto is a very fast player as it is. Marquinhos is now 31 years of age. It was a really good run, and PSG were a little bit fortunate because the ball into Pacho could have gone anywhere, and then Safonov had to really scramble to smother the ball in the end. PSG now have the ball just outside of their penalty box with Marquinhos. Dembele plays it back to Safonov. Pacho's inside the box. It goes out to the left back Mendes. He plays it down the line. It's one back though by Chelsea. And Caicedo has it in the centre circle. Leaves it for Enzo Fernandez. Chalobah plays it back to Jorgensen. James gives it to Jorgensen. That was really, really bold by Jorgensen. He just flicked the ball over Bradley Barcola. And then he's eventually got the ball back from Chalobah. He's now just slowly taking his time. Jorgensen wearing all orange this evening, of course, in for Robert Sanchez. A goalkeeping decision made by Liam Rossigna. Of course, that type of decision backfired for Spurs yesterday, didn't it? As Chelsea win a free kick inside their own half. Our Spanish referee decides that it was a foul by Dembele on Cole Palmer. Just a little clipped to his legs, tripping up the England international, the former Manchester City forward. So again, Fofana has the ball. It's about 10 yards to the right of the centre circle. In fact, it's Reece James, the Chelsea captain, who will take it instead. It's played over to Marc Cucurella, the Spain left back, the European champion, of course. Enzo Fernandez flicks the ball beautifully down to João Pedro. He breaks into the box, goes for a shot, it's straight at Marquinhos, ball is loose, headed away by Mendes. James tries to win the ball back, and then Mendes' clearance just hits a Chelsea player, and eventually the ball just comes loose, and it's collected by the goalkeeper, Matvei Safonov. Brilliant run by João Pedro, trying to put the ball between the legs of Marquinhos, but it just didn't work out that time. Hakimi in a right back area, closed down by Cucurella, and PSG are being pressed at the moment by Chelsea. If you are just joining us, we've had 20 minutes played at the Parc de France. It's PSG 1, Chelsea 0. Chalobah plays the ball back to Jorgensen now. It's with Reece James. Caicedo's dropped deep. He squares it over to Chalobah. Back to Jorgensen. Tries to flick it over to the far side towards Malo Gusto. He does well to keep it in play. He's been marked very, very tightly by Bradley Barcola. Ball comes loose to Palmer. Brings it into PSG's half of the field. He's got two players around him. Doesn't have much support, but he's able to flick it off João Neves, and it should be a Chelsea throw. Neves was calling for it. It will be Chelsea's possession. It was a really good chance moments ago for João Pedro. He's in fantastic form at the moment. He's scored 11 goals in his last 12 games in all competitions. In fact, since January the 10th, no player has scored more goals in the European top 5 leagues other than Harry Kane. João Pedro has got 11, tied with Lamine Yamal. Harry Kane has 15. That's pretty good company to be included with. Chelsea try to break on the left-hand side, but the ball over to Pedro Neto is too heavy. He looks frustrated with that. Liam Rossigna applauds the idea. He's trying to scream some instructions over to the far side of the pitch. Nuno Mendes now for PSG, plays it forward. It's cut out by Gusto. Excellent defending. It goes back to Fofana, right by the centre spot. It goes back to Chalobah. Now with Jorgensen. Clever pass towards Reece James, who's done brilliantly to get away from Nuno Mendes. And Cole Palmer is attacking on the far side. Turns onto his left foot, just inside the box. He squares it towards Enzo Fernandez, but it's cut out by João Neves, and then Cucurella wins the ball back. Cole Palmer has it. It's to Neto right on the corner of the penalty box. He plays down the line to Cucurella, who's unmarked, just inside the box. Cross comes over towards the far post. It's towards João Pedro, but his header straight at the goalkeeper. A lovely lifted cross by Cucurella, but Pedro was just leaning back and he was unable to get any power or accuracy on the header, and in the end it was easy for the goalkeeper, Safonov. It does appear that the players out wide for Chelsea are the ones creating opportunities, the likes of Neto and Palmer showing their skill and their pace. Something that so far PSG have struggled to deal with. It's Barcola, the goal scorer, has it on the far side. We're midway through the first half. In Paris, it's PSG 1, Chelsea 0. Bradley Barcola's goal the difference. This, of course, the first leg. The second leg takes place next Tuesday in West London at Stamford Bridge. Marquinhos spreads the ball beautifully over to Barcola. He controls it deliciously. Ball is played just inside to Doué, who's bursting into the box. He tries to get onto his right foot. His shot is blocked. Chelsea are able to look after the ball. Malo Gusto hasn't quite cleared it yet. He's been closed down by Zaire-Emery. Eventually he clears with his left foot towards João Pedro, who controls it really nicely off his chest, but it's a poor ball in the end by Reece James. He tried to unlock Pedro Neto on this near side, but his pass was intercepted. Barcola on the far side. Cutting on to his right foot, right on the edge of the box, and then shoots and it just goes wide of the far post. A really good strike by Bradley Barcola as he looks for his second goal of the game. He skips past Cole Palmer. He's able to just shift the ball away from Wesley Fofana. He tries to curl it into the far post, but it just doesn't have enough curl. And you know what? Looking at another replay here, that's a terrific save by Philip Jorgensen. He got a really important touch, and it is a PSG corner. They play it short. It comes out to Hakimi. It's now with Vitinha. He squares it back to Hakimi. It's back over onto this near side with Dembele. Puts in a deep cross with his right foot, but it's too heavy. It's not very good in the end from the Ballon d'Or winner, Ousmane Dembele, the former Borussia Dortmund and Barcelona winger, playing as a false nine this evening. It was a really good attempt by Barcola. It's an excellent save by Jorgensen. Probably the shot needed a little bit more curl to it. It might have been going wide anyway, but good save nonetheless. João Pedro is fouled by Pacho. And Chelsea have a free kick right by the centre circle in their own half. Pedro's foot was trod on there by the defender. Fofana plays it into the feet of João Pedro. He's collected really nicely, but it's an excellent challenge by Pacho. So far PSG have had 54% of the ball, while Chelsea have had 46%. Chelsea have it on this near side with Cucurella. He did really well to keep the ball in play. He played it to Caicedo. Lovely pass through to Reece James, who tries to unlock Cole Palmer, but he just runs out of steam in the box, and it's excellent defending in a central area by Nuno Mendes. Brilliant stuff. Mendes now on this right hand side. He tries to get away from Pedro Neto, but the official on this side says that the ball went out of play and Chelsea have a throw. They take it quickly. It goes back to Caicedo on this near side. Enzo Fernandez plays the ball over to Malo Gusto, who's in the box unmarked. Shot comes in, and then it goes through the goalkeeper Matvei Safonov, and Chelsea have an equaliser in the 28th minute, and it's a really unlikely source in Malo Gusto, and the Chelsea fans in the away end are loving it. They are bouncing in the Parc de France as Malo Gusto gets his first Champions League goal of the season. It's a brilliant ball. He's completely unmarked. Shot comes in, and it's got to be a better save from Safonov. It's low down to his right, but he gets a hand to it, and it just slips under his body and goes past the goal line. João Neves can only watch. It's not even hit very cleanly by Malo Gusto. It's almost with the tip of his toes. It's almost like a toe poke in the end from Malo Gusto. But Chelsea don't care, because it's Paris Saint-Germain 1, Chelsea 1. Game on. And that will go down as an error by Safonov. Gusto now has his first goal in 7 games in European football's top club competition, the UEFA Champions League this season. And it's made all of the PSG players and their coach, Luis Enrique, just a little bit deflated at the moment. Very negative body language after conceding that goal, as Barcola does really well to close down Gusto and forces a throw in right by the corner flag in the right back area for Chelsea. Gusto clears it. It's headed away by Pacho. Chelsea win the ball. It's played forward towards Pedro. It comes over to Neto. He has a little bit of time on this left-hand side. Zaire-Emery comes over. That's a brilliant tackle by the young French midfielder, and he comes away with the ball. He plays it over to another very talented French midfielder, Desiree Doué, who shows his skills, but he's caught, and he'll have a free kick for PSG. I think it was Enzo Fernandez with the late challenge. PSG decides to just get the ball moving again. Vitinha plays it over to Nuno Mendes. It's João Neves. Vitinha just inside the centre circle, on the halfway line. All of the Chelsea players are currently in their own half. Marquinhos over to Desiree Doué on this near side, right in front of Luis Enrique, who has his arms folded on the edge of his technical area. Well, Liam Rossigna is a lot more animated as we speak. Vitinha inside to Zaire-Emery in the centre circle. It's ball is put forward towards Hakimi, but it's too heavy from Dembele, and Jorgensen's able to pick the ball up. It is interesting to see how sometimes when Dembele drops deep, it's Hakimi, the right back of all people, who ends up in the number 9 role. Really interesting tactical development from Luis Enrique as the ball is played over the top. Marquinhos is battling with Enzo Fernandez. In fact, it's Zaire-Emery who's able to get there ahead of Fernandez, and he wins that battle. His clearance on this near side isn't very good. It goes straight to Neto. Doué just is able to get a foot in, and Chelsea will have a throw on this near side. We're in the 32nd minute of the Parc des Princes. It's the UEFA Champions League. Last 16. First leg, it's PSG 1, Chelsea 1. Joao Pedro to Cucurella. It's really congested in the right back area of Paris Saint-Germain, and they boot it clear. In the end, it goes all the way back to Jorgensen, who's about 15-20 yards outside of his penalty box. Comes over to this near side to Cucurella. He tries to lift it over the top for Neto, but he's never going to find the former Wolves man with that ball. Straight to Safonov. Neto does, though, give a thumbs up to the idea. Marquinhos now, the Paris Saint-Germain defender, back in the PSG side, replacing Ilya Zabani. Of course, he joined from Bournemouth in the summer. Zabani has very much been Marquinhos is the man for the big games, their club captain. Been at the side for well over a decade now. And he has the ball again at his feet, about 5 yards outside of the PSG box. Comes over to Desiree Doué on the near side. Plays a 1-2 with Hakimi. Doué spreads it over to the far side to Barcola. He brings it down effortlessly. It's brilliant. He's on the attack now. Trying to escape past a couple of Chelsea players, but his pass is poor. PSG win the ball back very quickly. Doué. Zaire-Emery. Hakimi's on this near side. He plays it down the line to Doué. Hakimi and Doué exchange passes. It comes to Zaire-Emery. Now with Vitinha. Pacho is right in the middle of Chelsea's half. Goes out to the far side. Mendes plays it to Dembele, who's gone deep again. He tries to play the ball into the box, but it's not very good. It goes straight to the goalkeeper, Jorgensen, who is able to collect the ball off the ground. Chalobah clears for Chelsea. Headed away by Vitinha. He won the challenge against Cole Palmer. PSG have the ball. It's Vitinha now. Wide to Mendes. Vitinha once more. João Neves. PSG just have so many talented young players. The likes of João Neves, Zaire-Emery, Barcola, Doué, all in their early 20s. Doué has the ball on this near side. Trying to skate past Mark Cucurella. He tries to show skills, but Cucurella shows excellent defending, as you'd expect from the Chelsea left-back. Also introduced to the Premier League by Brighton Hove Albion. Of course, there's quite a few ex-Brighton players in this Chelsea side, the likes of João Pedro, Moises Caicedo, Mark Cucurella. There would have been Robert Sanchez, but he's not in the side today. It's Philip Jorgensen. Vitinha. Mendes on the far side. Chelsea just camped right on the edge of their penalty box at the moment. Hakimi. Marquinhos. Vitinha brings the ball forward. He plays it towards, I think it was Barcola. He was brought down, but PSG still have possession. It's with Marquinhos, who's just inside Chelsea's half. He tries to spread it over to Mendes, but he completely miskicks it. He goes straight to Jorgensen. 10 minutes remaining in the first half. It's PSG 1, Chelsea 1. So far, PSG have had 6 attempts, 4 of them on target, and they're on the attack again. The ball forward is blocked. It comes out to Hakimi. That's a loose ball. Goes straight to Cole Palmer. He's looking for João Pedro. Nice pass. Pedro brings down a difficult ball very easily, and then he tries to flick it past William Pacho. He's never going to be able to do that. He's too good a defender. PSG have the ball on the far side with Barcola. Inside to João Neves, but it's not a very good ball. And Chelsea have possession. Palmer. Caicedo. Reece James plays it back to Fofana, and Chalobah will give it back to Jorgensen. He's been closed down, so he has to clear. First time with his left foot. Straight to Marquinhos. Zaire Emery now for Paris Saint-Germain. It's Hakimi. Dembele inside to Doué, who has a little bit of room. Comes back out to Dembele on this near side. Hakimi right on the edge of the penalty box. He plays it back to Vitinha. It's over with the left back Mendes. Now with Barcola on the far side. Inside to Vitinha. This is a prolonged period of possession for PSG. Hakimi inside to Dembele. Cucurella's in front of him. He tries to slip it forward. It's intercepted by Enzo Fernandez. Comes out to Caicedo. He tries to flick over to the left-hand side towards Pedro Neto. But Safanov races out of goal and he slides in and he tries to put the ball out of play. But I think it's just stayed in play. And Chelsea have the ball with João Pedro. But Safanov was able to get back to his goal very quickly. Chelsea still have it now with João Pedro. He just loses out in the end to Zaire Emery, of course. He seems to win every challenge in this game. Just so tenacious. Nuno Mendes now has it at left back. Brings the ball into the Chelsea half. It's Bradley Barcola on the far side. Inside to Vitinha. Gets the ball back from Dembele, who again is just dropping deep. Mendes, Barcola on the far side. Slips it back towards Mendes. Tries to put in a low cross, but it's an excellent piece of defended by Malo Gusto, who very confidently points to his goalkeeper that it will be a goal kick, and that is completely the right decision because in the end it was a missed kick by Nuno Mendes. PSG are, of course, top of Ligue 1, but they've had contrasting results recently in the division. They had a narrow victory over Le Havre, but then they lost 3-1 at home to Monaco. They haven't been as impressive this season as they have been in previous years. That is also in part thanks to a brilliant performance by Lens this season under Pierre Sage. Marquinhos heads the ball away for PSG. Comes loose to Caicedo, the Chelsea midfielder. He flicks it over to the goal scorer, Malo Gusto. He brings it into PSG's half of the field on the far side. He plays it down the line to Palmer. He cuts onto his left foot. He's twisting, he's turning. João Neves nearly slips, but Palmer still has the ball. He plays it out wide to Gusto. Gusto looks up to put it across, decides to go backwards instead. He gets the ball back from James. He plays down the line to James. He plays inside to Palmer, but his shot is straight at the goalkeeper. It's a good save in the end by Safanov, albeit it was straight at him. And PSG are on the counter-attack at the moment. It's Dembele. He's been closed down by Fofana. Cuts onto his left foot, then back onto his right foot. Shot comes in as past the goalkeeper. And Paris Saint-Germain are back in front. And it's brilliant from Ousmane Dembele. That is why he won the Ballon d'Or award to become the best player on planet Earth. Chelsea so close to taking the lead through Cole Palmer. He had space, he hit it first time in the box. It was straight at Safanov, and it was a brilliant break by PSG. Dembele was on the run. Fofana raced over. It looked like Dembele had taken too long. It looked like he was going to square the ball to Achraf Hakimi, and then instead of playing the pass with his left foot, he turned back onto his right, and then he put a shot past Fofana and past the goalkeeper Jorgensen, who could only just watch the ball go into the back of the net. It's Paris Saint-Germain 2, Chelsea 1. And the noise inside the Parc des Princes has gone up a few notches thanks to that goal by Dembele, only his second in the Champions League this season in 7 appearances. He really has struggled with injuries this campaign. Jorgensen looks a little bit frustrated. It did appear there was a slight deflection off the shot, off the boot of Wesley Fofana. I'm not sure that Jorgensen would have saved it, whether there had been the deflection or not. But it was a brilliant counter-attack by PSG as Cucurella's ball is cleared by Hakimi, but that will be easily dealt with by Trevor Chalobah. Jorgensen plays the ball forward towards Caicedo, but he loses possession to Doué, but the referee has already blown his whistle, indicating there's a little bit of a shove there by the talented midfielder Doué. Caicedo, who is so important to this Chelsea side. He was definitely a key player as they won that FIFA Club World Cup in America last summer. Cole Palmer flicks the ball towards João Pedro, who tries to give it back to the former City forward, but that's excellent defending by Nuno Mendes, albeit the referee has actually given Chelsea a free kick, I believe. Looked like there was a flinging arm by Mendes, which just caught the face of Cole Palmer. I don't think there was too much there, but very accidental in my opinion. But Palmer was so close to giving Chelsea the lead. He just couldn't angle his volley far enough away from Safanov. PSG made him pay very, very quickly. And again, Doué has committed a foul on Caicedo. Caicedo is complaining to the referee that he's not going into his book. Doué is unimpressed with that. He's actually indicating that Caicedo dived there. Things are starting to heat up in the French capital. Jorgensen now, just inside his penalty box. He tries to square it to Enzo Fernandez. He's being marked very, very tightly by Hakimi. Comes all the way out to Fofana. Cola made a challenge and the ball goes out for a Chelsea throw right by the corner flag. It comes to Fofana. James to Gusto. Just about keeps hold of possession and gives it back to James. James has done brilliantly there to find Caicedo, and the ball goes back to Jorgensen. He squares it inside the box to Chalobah. It comes out to Cucurella. Ball goes down the line to Pedro Neto, who's really, really deep for Chelsea in the left-back area. Lovely turn by Reece James. He's caught by Vitinha. Chelsea will have a free kick right on the edge of their penalty box, and you know what? They need a moment of respite. They probably want to launch this forward just to get the ball out of play. Instead, they play it back to Jorgensen. He tries to clip it towards João Pedro, who's controlled it really nicely despite being shadowed by Pacho. But everywhere João Pedro has been this game, William Pacho has been right over his shoulder. is Cucurella at left back. He's closed down very, very quickly. The ball goes out for a Chelsea throw on this near side. Feels like this goal has energised this Paris Saint-Germain side. It looks like they are far more interested in pressing higher right now since that goal by Dembele. João Pedro is marked too tightly by Marquinhos and earns Chelsea a free kick inside their own half over on this near side. We are approaching 45 minutes played in the first half at the Parc des Princes. It's Chelsea who are behind. It's Paris Saint-Germain 2, Chelsea 1, as Reece James is being closed down by Vitinha. He does really well to find Cucurella at left back. It goes back to Chalobah, who tries to launch it forward and headed away by João Pedro. We're on the edge of the centre circle, and then Vitinha decides to just knock it back to Safonov, who's about 20 yards out of his goal. It goes to Mendes. He plays into the feet of Dembele. He tries to hook it over the top towards Bradley Barcola, but Gusto is able to play the ball back to Jorgensen. We're going to have a minute of additional time at the end of this first half. Ball is played long. Chelsea now have it with Enzo Fernandez. He tries to slip into Neto, who's just inside the box. He gives it back to Fernandez. Ball comes loose. João Pedro tries to get there, and then in the end, Warren Zaïre-Emery just smashes the ball into Rose Ed. Chelsea wants to take this throw quickly. Goes to the feet of Neto. Cucurella plays it back to Reece James. Goes all the way back to Fofana. And then Chelsea lose possession. But PSG are unable to make the most of a counter-attack. But the referee blows his whistle for half-time nonetheless. That was a thoroughly entertaining first half. PSG took the lead after 10 minutes after Bradley Barcola thumped the ball in with his left foot. Malo Gusto, of all people, equalised for Chelsea, as he was almost unmarked in the PSG box in the 28th minute. But then Chelsea were closing in on taking the lead. Cole Palmer's shot was saved, and then PSG hit Chelsea on the counter-attack, and Ousmane Dembele was able to regain the lead for PSG. hit Doué last. Indeed, I think it just came off his knee. And in the end, it will be a goal kick. Of course, Paris Saint-Germain, the reigning defending champions, taking on the current world champions, Chelsea, who beat PSG in that final last July. Chelsea have the ball with their goal scorer, an unlikely goal scorer in Malo Gusto. Just popped up out of nowhere in the penalty box to get the equaliser for Chelsea in the first half. Players. Pedro Neto is preparing to take this corner kick for Chelsea. Fofana and Chalobah are in the box. It's played short to Cucurella. Back to Neto. Out to Cole Palmer. Squared inside to Caicedo. Fernandez now. He plays it back to Gusto. He tries to play it towards Neto. It's cut out. Chelsea have the ball again with Caicedo. James. Chalobah. Fernandez tries to switch over to this near side towards Neto. Chests the ball down. He controls it really nicely. The former Wolves man trying to come onto his left foot. Cleared by Pacho. PSG have it with Doué, but he's knocked down. He wants a free kick. He's not going to get it. Chelsea now have the ball with Caicedo right on the edge of the centre circle in his own half. Goes wide to Fernandez. It goes into the feet of João Pedro, who tries to slip it down the left wing for Neto. It's an excellent piece of defending by Marquinhos to get in front of the quick winger. He slides in and he just puts the ball out of play for a throw on the far side. Goes back to Cucurella. Caicedo drops the shoulder and he plays it back towards Fofana. So far PSG have had 7 attempts, 5 on target. Chelsea have had 7, they've had 3 on target. Terrific footwork by Jorgensen to get away from Barcola right on the edge of the box there. Brilliant players. Gusto has it and Chelsea launched the ball forward. It's a little bit heavy, but João Pedro is going to try and race into it, and he absolutely clatters into a PSG player. João Neves. Neves only had eyes for the ball, and João Pedro went right into the side of him. Nothing was given there. Players now resumed. Luis Enrique, I don't think was too impressed by that. As Barcola has it on the near side for the champions. It's Vitinha on the edge of the centre circle. He spreads it over to the far side to Dembele. Ball is bouncing right in front of him. He's forced to go backwards. Vitinha, Dembele. Slips it forward towards Zaire-Emery. Back now with Dembele. Over to Pacho, who's just inside the centre circle. He squares it to his left to Mendes. It's over on the near side with Hakimi of all people. That's the right back over at left wing, and he now just positions himself as centre forward again. There's a loose pass by PSG, and Chelsea will have possession on the far side. Do find it fascinating the way Hakimi just pops up at centre forward when he's supposed to be at right back, and he's now at right back marking Enzo Fernandez. Chelsea have the ball with Caicedo. He plays it back to Jorgensen. Jorgensen in for Robert Sanchez today. He had to get that pass to Reece James to be perfect, and it was. James came away with the ball right on the edge of the penalty box. It goes all the way back to Chalobah. It's squared to Cucurella. He's closed down by Zaire-Emery, but he is able to make his pass down the line to Neto, who is being shadowed by Marquinhos, who is really high up the field and wide at the moment. In the end, the ball goes out for a throw. Hakimi got a touch, but Chelsea tried to break with Joao Pedro on the far side. He's being marked very tightly by Pacho. Strong challenge. Great battle by the two South Americans. And in the end, the referee blows his whistle and the decision is in favour of Paris Saint-Germain. Not quite sure. The two players both had their legs entwined together. The PSG have the ball with Neves. It's Barcola. Neves gets it back from Dembele. Dembele's really enjoying dropping deep at the moment for Paris Saint-Germain. It's Marquinhos. Pacho into the feet of Barcola, who's just a little bit infield. He's near the halfway line at the moment. He's trying to get away from his man. It comes over to Nuno Mendes, who races away from Wesley Fofana. Comes out wide to Barcola on the near side, right on the edge of the area. Squared inside to Dembele. He feints, he leaves it for Zaire Emery. Comes out to Hakimi, who's inside the box. He puts in a low cross. It's cleared right on the edge of the 6-yard box by Chalobah. Chelsea surviving that attack. Zaire Emery on the far side. He plays it down the line. Ball comes back to Zaire Emery. Comes all the way back to Pacho, just inside the centre circle. He squares it to Vitinha. Vitinha's influence hasn't been massive in this game so far. He very often is the player that can make PSG tick. Marquinhos. Zaire Emery. His pass to Hakimi is a little heavy, but the Moroccan keeps the ball in play. Comes inside to Zaire Emery. Doué. Dembele dropped deep again. He's right in the heart of the Chelsea half. They try to attack Chelsea on the far side, and then Cucurella just kicks the ball into the arm of a PSG player. Warren Zaire Emery. And Chelsea will have a free kick in a left back area. Of course, Chelsea have been in really good form under their new boss, Liam Rosenior. They recently beat Aston Villa 4-1 in the Premier League, and then they needed extra time though to beat Wrexham, Championship Wrexham 4-2 on Saturday in the FA Cup 5th round. Well, they do have a really good record against French teams in UEFA competition. They've won their last 6 matches against Ligue 1 sides. But they are currently 2-1 down with 10 minutes into the second half. It's the first leg of this round of 16 game in the UEFA Champions League. It's PSG 2, Chelsea 1. Jorgensen's kick is headed away by Joao Neves. Cucurella plays the ball though down the line. Neto can't keep a hold of it. PSG try to attack on the far side with Doué. He's trying to run at Chalobah. He gets past Chalobah. It's a great run by Doué. Going to put a cross in. Caicedo comes over to help, and the ball just trickles off the foot of Doué and it'll go out for a goal kick. That was brilliant play by Doué to get away from Chalobah, and in the end it was Caicedo doing what Caicedo does best, and that's fixing up. Towards Barcola. It's back to Nuno Mendes. He tries a big switch over to the far side. It will come all the way to Hakimi. Doué, who lost possession. Neto bursts into the box. It's a really good run. He squares the ball inside towards Enzo Fernandez, who side foots the ball past the goalkeeper. And Chelsea are once again level. The Argentine international knee slice in celebration. Doué can't believe it, and Chelsea have made PSG pay again. Enzo Fernandez knows all about success. He's won a World Cup, he's won a Club World Cup, and now he's put his side level against the European champions. It was poor from Doué. It was brilliant from Neto. He had Marquinhos on the back foot. Then he just slipped the ball behind Marquinhos as he went down to the ground, thinking it was going to be a low cross into the 6-yard box. Instead, it was behind his back. It was squared inside to Enzo Fernandez, who burst into the box right by the penalty spot. He hit the ball first time with his right foot to the right of the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper's left. Safanov had no chance. And it's PSG 2, Chelsea 2. And that's Fernandez's third goal in the Champions League this season. This really has been a thrilling affair at the Parc des Princes. PSG again get the game restarted by just blasting the ball out of play. It's almost like they're kicking the ball into touch, like they do in rugby. Again, another thing that Luis Enrique has taken from the sport of rugby. As I mentioned earlier, he has been starting some games by sitting high in the stands to get a better look at what's going on tactically. He didn't do that this evening, but certainly putting the ball high up in the field for territory is very much a thing you'll see in rugby as Jorgensen clears the ball for Chelsea. It's towards Cole Palmer. João Neves gets a foot in. And it looks like PSG are about to make a substitution. Kvaratskhelia, the Georgian international, former Napoli player. He can be a real game changer. Mendes. Ball is down the line towards João Neves, but it's just flicked off Gusto. And PSG have a throw on the halfway line. It goes back to the defender Pacho. It's now Vitinha in the left-back area. He plays it over to João Neves, who's right on the touchline, right in front of Luis Enrique and the PSG happy just to keep possession in defence at the moment. Pacho, it's a loose ball back to Pacho. He's forced to fire it into Marquinhos, who's controlled the ball brilliantly, then plays it out to Hakimi. PSG just being forced back a little bit by Chelsea at the moment. Again, it's Vitinha in the left-back area. Now Pacho's in his own penalty box. It's squared to Marquinhos. Decides to clear in the end with his left foot. It's not a very good clearance. Cut out by Chelsea. Mendes, he couldn't find Palmer. PSG have it on this near side with Barcola. Now with Dembele. Again, just dropping deep for PSG. João Neves in the centre circle. He does a heavy switch over to that far side. It's only just about kept in by Doué. He's done really well there, Desiré Doué, to keep the ball in play. It's Marquinhos now. Out wide to Doué, who is really hugging that touchline on the far side. PSG just passing the ball in Chelsea's half at the moment. Chelsea win it back through Caicedo. He just nudges the ball forward to João Pedro, who has a little bit of room in the centre circle. He leaves it for Cole Palmer, who's right by the centre spot. It goes back to Chalobah. Had over an hour played at the Parc des Princes. PSG 2, Chelsea 2. Pedro Neto loses possession. Really strong challenge in the end by Hakimi. Chelsea will have a throw on the far side, and you'd suspect this will be the moment that PSG make their substitution. And it's an interesting one. They're taking off Desiré Doué. And they're bringing on Kvaratskhelia. I think normally it would be Bradley Barcola who would come off, and I think PSG would normally keep Desiré Doué on. But I think Luis Enrique is thinking that likes of Kvaratskhelia and Barcola are going to be more direct. They're going to ask the Chelsea fullbacks just a few more questions as the ball is launched forward towards Cole Palmer, but it's too heavy, and Safanov collects the ball just inside his penalty box. Chelsea actually looked very good in the Champions League phase. They finished 6th. They won 5, drew 1, lost 2. While the reigning champions PSG made it a little bit more difficult. They finished 11th. I mean, they didn't finish in the top 8, had to play in the last 16. And in the end, they but PSG have the ball in the end with Kvaratskhelia on the far side. He's trying to come away from Cucurella. He is then fouled though on the far side. He earns a free kick for his side. It was Enzo Fernandez with the late challenge on the Georgian. So it's over in the right back area for Paris Saint-Germain. Vitinha now has the ball for the Parisians. Comes over to João Neves, who's in the left back area. He's trying to knock the ball long towards Barcola. He brings it down beautifully. He's trying to run at the defence, and Gusto and Fofana are able to cope, and the ball is eventually collected by Jorgensen. It was brought down beautifully by Barcola. His first touch got him away from Fofana, but between Fofana and